welcome back to another Thursday night here at Heroes and Hooligans, where we are playing Gilded Destinies, our Eberron campaign. With me tonight, as always, I have Hooli playing Coca-Cola, Don playing Zenlin, Shen playing Jillian, and Not Duke playing Reznor. And we are ready to get back into it. Or almost ready. As we're going to go into a little bit of a retrospective here. Coca-Cola. It has been a very fast-paced battle. You have not had a chance for the slog of it to hit you because you have not stopped moving until this moment. As you sit here atop this wrecked metallic behemoth in the chair where a corpse you helped make just sat, how do you feel about the events of this day leading up to this point? What do you remember of this fog of war?
Well, going into the battle, Coca-Cola was really amped up and ready to go, and then seeing the legions formed and such. They were a very small group in their vanguard with a handful of experienced fighters and a handful of fighters that she wasn't really familiar with. So staying in formation was important until they decided to break, and going into the darkness was helpful. But something was nagging her in the back of her mind as she went into this as a former member of one of the houses, and knowing that this was the houses against the common folk. Something was nagging her that something was missing, especially after a recent engagement against these houses. And once they got back in formation after some rust-colored rain going on, it hit. And it was very much what she was knowing was missing, the abominations from house, whichever one. I think I always want to say Canon.
Canon. It is Canon.
So House Canon.
If you're thinking about immoral magic, it's probably House Canon.
Yeah. So once we got back in formation and started moving forward again, trying to secure the package to where it needed to go, coming across the illusion in finding the camp was a big, oh shit, this could go sideways really fast moment, because she was minorly hopeful that we weren't going to run into any of those abominations, but at the same time had a dreaded feeling. And she also was feeling proud of her best friend for standing up against tyranny and the purge of the common folk for the good of the houses. And that was a really proud moment, seeing Jillian stand up as a person who doesn't like conflict, who doesn't like making big public speeches, who's never really been the charismatic in that sort of way sort. Who's just a gentle, loving, healing soul. To see her throw her hand in the air and say, "We will knock these tyrants down," and people actually responding to that was just a really big, proud moment. And then getting into the combat with the abomination, when it gripped up Reznor, that was a big NO, because he's our damage sponge. We need him. So killing the little fucker that was operating it and taking his seat was pretty awesome. Now she's just kind of panting and sweating it out a little bit, because it's starting to take a toll on her physically, whether she's fit or not. It's still war is a grueling task.
Yeah. And I think as Coca-Cola moves through these memories that are not even an hour long, but already such a massive portion of her life's experience, with cold analytical assessment of, this is why I did this is the right reason, and justifies every action she has taken as the correct one. I think her voice sounds a little different in her head. It sounds a little more solid and a little more sure.
Very much.
Please give me a religion.
I think also hearing the sounds of the moorholds from the ship has kind of bolstered her a little bit, because now she knows like her dad is getting free as well. Not a super religious individual. I got a 7.
7. There are a few people that you associate with the kind of solid surety that your inner voice now has. There is your eldest brother, who works as a guard at your home. There is your father, soon to be rescued from that same building, telling you you are special and that you matter. Though for a time it was not, there is your grandfather. And you can see the strike of his gauntleted fist on Jillian's face, taking action, not checking to make sure he'd be forgiven, knowing he was right, and everyone would see that. And then there's the first place you ever saw that surety. Stand up straight, Coca-Cola. You're better than this, Coca-Cola. You're my only daughter, and you're going to do better. No one ever believed you could do the right thing more than your mother, as long as you listened to what she had to say. And I think I'll leave it to you as to where that sort of surety, the surety Coca-Cola feels now, what that resembles most to her. But those are the things that come to your mind.
I think the surety the most, she's always been a part of the houses ever since she was born. Her mother's a Kundarak. She was born a Kundarak. She didn't take Iron Gut. But she always felt the houses needed change, and that she wanted to be a part of the change, because she wanted their archaic ways of doing things to be more progressive, to be more inclusive. And I think her surety of that comes from probably mostly at this point her grandfather, because he, when she first came back across him after some time since her childhood, you know, he was just in his retirement stage. He had pushed off the business to somebody else, so he didn't have to be responsible for running it. He was at home alone doing the things that he enjoyed doing, was rather lonely at that, but and then being around Coca-Cola and her friends sort of maybe rejuvenated him a little bit, and seeing him rejuvenate and come back to his former glory is like a really good solid anchor point for her, because he came back to make a change, and that is something she's always teetered with. Like, am I going about making a change the right way? Is there a better way to do this than with the quote-unquote iron fist? And seeing her grandfather spur into action to not only save his son, but to do what is right for people all around, including giving people who are considered undesirable a chance and a place in his world and in his town, is something that she's really like, it makes her feel strong. It makes her feel like her back is made of iron rather than, you know, Does that make sense? Like a strong iron.
Give me an insight check first, DC 10. I'll even say, if you want to, you can add your charisma to this instead of your wisdom. Because this is you convincing yourself of something.
Okay. So then it would... Well, I mean, I got a 12. I add +6 to insight. It's a DC 10. So.
Okay, cool. Wonderful. As you know that your surety comes from being right for more than just yourself, more than just being correct, being right. You feel your hand twitch and scrape against a small stone circle here next to the seat, almost a dial. And I'd like you to make me one more religion check with advantage.
Religion with advantage. That will be a natural 20 for 22.
Gorgeous. You touch this little stone plaque and threw it down into the deep stone of the Undercity, through the circuitry and wiring of the great mechanical beast you sit atop. You feel a scrape. It's tactile and audible at the same time, of the pressure in your hand when you are wielding one of your spells, writing out a runic circle to shape protection, to shape the space. Cola, I'm going to give you two things here. The first is that you are now essentially attuned to a... Oh, what's the magic item called? Apparatus of the Crab?
Okay.
And the second is that once per long rest, you may now cast the spell Magic Circle without expending a spell slot.
Okay.
As an action, I will warn you, this magic circle cannot exclude elementals or fae. But the surety of stone, your surety, sculpts the stone. And the stone has a new belief. Miles above your head, through the stone of the city, you see fire on a front lawn, but the walkway untouched. Building standing tall as the roof above it collapses and the stone does not shift. 5 dwarven warriors wearing badges of the Mrar Holds are running out across the walkway, with your mother following behind, your father slung over one of their shoulders, and your eldest brother standing in their path to get to the exit. The vision ends. Zenlin. Here on the ground, next to the crumbled apparatus, you hear it buzz to life once more. Not fully, just a twitch of the claw deeper into the ground. But the sound throws you back just 30 seconds ago. And then you see it stop.
I think he jumps as the thing had fallen, and kind of he got a second after that 30 seconds to kind of think about it. And he kind of goes back because he woke up today, I don't want to say anxious, and I don't want to say that this was his dream, because I don't think Zenlin ever truly had a dream, but this was what he always wanted. We went and talked to the Grey Dwarfs that had helped carve the symbol of Dolur into my vial. Found out that the curse was gone and they were just afflicted with something, and there was optimism to that, that's something that we know magic can cure, and it's totally possible that after today they'll be able to get that cure. But I think for Zenlin it was bittersweet because he knows that that's not likely where they're going. That kind of magic is a lot more rare there. But as they left and started to head back for the Vanguard, I think voices were running through his head. The same voices that all through his life told him he could never do this. His instructors, his siblings, his peers, his mother. Mm-hmm. And then the wall came down. And the voices went silent. And everything he had ever, all the training, the calisthenics, everything he did, kicked in. And I think he was almost on autopilot for a lot of it. But once he dropped the cloud kill and looked around, it hit him that...
gasping for breath, tendrils of green poison reaching down their throats and pulling the air out of it by the scores.
I think there's a split second here where he hesitates. And he realizes that this isn't what he was preparing for his whole life. He had always wanted to be a soldier. He had wanted to fight on the front lines. But the things he had been preparing to fight, he had not prepared himself to see this loss of, for lack of a better term, humanoid life.
You were not prepared for a war where there would be pity for your enemy.
Yeah, I was prepared to fight these inhuman beings of perfection from beyond the veil, and now I'm killing people. And I mean, right and wrong aren't things that Zenlin spent a lot of time dwelling on, but I think being on the surface, being with his friends, they're things that he's started looking at, right? His upbringing, mm-hmm. There was no consideration for right and wrong. These are otherworldly beings trying to destroy the world. We are good and they are bad.
And there was no moral reasoning behind Zenlin's leaving. It was for himself.
Yeah, he's never looked at something as right or wrong, or etc. Even the business. He didn't want to start a business. He doesn't care about this train. He just saw an easy way to travel and look for the information he was looking for. But mm-hmm. He made friends on the way. He learned, he grew. And now he's helping those friends create a distraction so one of their family members can get out. Watching one of them stand up to what he can only assume is someone of import to her, and not just stand up to them, but convincing them to leave the battle, further showing that we are right and this is wrong. And then we get to the point where we were going for, and the illusion lifts. This abomination grabs Reznor, who, even more than the other two, is one of the most loyal and caring friends, brave people he's ever met. He had wanted to save this in case he needed it for later. But after watching this much death today, he could not watch his friend die. That is when he cast his Disintegrate at the abomination, which did not destroy it. But we fought hard. We did what we had to. Reznor got free. I went down. Joe brought me up like I trusted she would. Finally, things are What? Oh, Coca-Cola, calm down.
All right. And then as you call up to Coca-Cola to calm down, Jillian, you hear your friend's name spoken aloud, and you look up, and you think of the reason you're even really here. Like, you got the call from Boar, same as everyone else, but do you think Jillian would have abandoned Sharn in the first place if Coca-Cola hadn't been going too?
No, she wouldn't. She wouldn't have abandoned the lower city.
Yeah.
For so long, she's seen, the people in the lower city being abused and discarded and manipulated, and she just couldn't leave it this time.
Yeah. Thinking about you left for Coca-Cola, what is Jillian? What is the first thought that comes to Jillian's mind when thinking about leaving?
That we can save as many as possible.
Yeah, you can save as many as possible.
Yeah,
I think the flip side of save as many as possible is lose as few as you can, right?
Yeah.
There were a lot of people who came to your clinic on an urgent basis, Jillian. And you've been on for 6 months now, almost.
Yeah,
Another clinic opened up, but like, you've heard of the guy. He was barely more than like. He had a little bit of medicinal training, but just enough to sound like he was talking right?
Yeah.
When you think about the people of this city, Jillian, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? The people of the Undercity, the Upper City, or both?
The Undercity. The clinic that she spent hours and hours, weeks and weeks trying to get that clinic open.
Okay. I'd like for you to make me a religion check here, please, Jillian. And I do believe you make these with advantage.
So, 16 plus 5, right? Yeah, 16 plus 5.
21? Wonderful. 21 religion. You think that clinic that you had seen turned into still a place of healing? It's maybe the method has changed, but usually, like, those were healing potions they were putting together. They were making the vials in the shop, and even with the fucking hack in there, it was still a place where people could come to find a little hope. Hope has a way of healing. And I think you turn around for just a second, just to look out over the battlefield. Hundreds are dead. Between you and a small, only really a story and a half, but you called it 2 stories. 2-story building about half a mile away, where the windows are lit by firelight. And you can see people walking in and out. You blink. There's no longer a field of bodies between you and this building. There's no longer the firelight lighting in the inside. There's just the gleam of the lovely candles you picked out with the frosted glass to surround them, to shed bright white light that most people here in the Undercity may not see for years. And you see a newspaper on the front stoop. It's the day after you left. Your legs move. You're really just a passenger looking through your eyes at this point. You can see the hands are yours, the clothing is yours. You move back, you walk back in. You can't hear the conversation you are having, but you can see that you're speaking to the receptionist at the front desk, who you know very well. And you see she says, and pulls out a sending stone, speaks a message into it. You sit, maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours pass. And you see someone we haven't seen since episode 1 of Gilded Destinies. The foundation head who directs the funding for this clinic. And the sound comes back to you. Ms. Rilke, I hear you have an issue with your enforced vacation. And you are able to speak.
There's too much to do. I can't go on vacation. Why don't I just work and I'm on vacation?
Well, Ms. Rilke, the issue is that your vacation, it's due to a bit of a... I didn't want to have to tell you this. There's an investigation into some of the funds being misappropriated at this clinic. It seems some very valuable poultice ingredients have gone missing or been labeled as purchased but unable to be found in inventory. There's a few general antidotes that aren't showing up as well. And quite a bit of just the more mundane side of medicine. We're missing out on about 100 rolls of gauze over the past year. And, well, at this point, there's about 4 hours out of your week we can't account for every week when you're working, but there's not a patient registered as paying a bill, right?
Sometimes I just get busy and I just keep working. I don't know.
All right, well, Jillian, I'm going to say this to you as a friend. It might be better for you to resign. You could go practice medicine out in some country town still have good standing with the house.
I can do more good here than out in the country. There are just so many people that need help. I mean, you can see it all around you. I mean, look out the door.
I mean, I do look out the door. I walk out there every day, and there's options for these people. If they're really that hard off, they could sign up for they could put in an application for city aid. They could get a job with one of the houses that provides healthcare. Maybe a mercenary job. Join up with some adventurers.
Adventurers, that's not a very good job. You know what the death rate is for adventurers?
I mean, from what I've heard, it's pretty close to the resurrection rate, ain't that right?
Resurrection rate. Yeah, I won't resign. I'm going to keep working here.
All right, well, you can't be on premises until the investigation's completed. Okay, Jill? Or they're just going to kick you out on your ass for violating the employment agreement. You can stay in the Undercity. You can keep helping people on your own time. You just can't use clinic resources, Jill. That's nobody minds if you volunteer after work. You just can't volunteer. We're not a volunteer clinic, We've got to pay. We don't get our medical supplies donated. They've got to come from somewhere. And I know for you, sure, your average patient costs less because you've got the true faith in the mark and all that. But most of our nurses don't have a lick of magic to them, Jill. They need those posts, and they need us to be able to pay for them. You can't be giving them out to every Bill and Terry who walks in having scraped his elbow in a pub fight. Yeah, I know about those gnolls from last week. I was in the lobby when they walked in. I didn't say nothing either. Enough stuff went missing, Jill, that my boss noticed and came to me asking, "Where's it at?" I didn't dob you in, but he had his boy look over the books, and it just is. I can't cover you anymore. We're past the point of me covering you. If you resign, I can promise I can write you a letter of recommendation to another house facility. This investigation plays out, and they can prove that you've been using it. You're on the hook for all of that money, and you'll never work with Jurassico again. You can set up some witch's hut somewhere and offer healing to villagers if you like, but people got to hear of you to know that you're going to help them, right? That's the big benefit of being house aligned. Everyone knows you go to a Jurassico healing house, you can get yourself taken care of.
Well, I guess you got to do what you got to do, and if I got to work at a witch's hut, I guess I got to work at a witch's hut.
You know what?
But, yeah. People need to be healed.
And he puts his hand out. I really admire you. I've always admired your morals. Very aspirational, if a bit naive. And you see just flashes of people on the street here in the Undercity as you walk it yourself, your clothes becoming shabbier and shabbier, the shoulders of your armor becoming rusted, the oranges and greens fading, your hair matted, sticking to itself as you don't have an income, but you have to help people. You have to. They need you. A patient with a cough, a child that just stopped breathing for 1 second, and the mother managed to scrape up the diamond dust, but just needs the magic and does not have enough to pay someone to use it for them. Please, ma'am. We've been waiting so long for him. You can fix it, right? They say you're a miracle worker.
She reaches out and she heals. She heals and doesn't ask for anything. And tells him to check back in with her. She'll check in tomorrow, make sure the child's okay.
Host bless you, ma'am. Is there a place we should come to?
She'll give him an address. Not the clinic,
Is
though.
it just
a different address?
Is it just a shop on a corner? As Jillian, the investigation has concluded, and you have been cast from House Jarasco. I think as you walk away from here, having raised the dead so this mother could have her child, you glance down at the bracers hanging loose on your forearm and see just the edge of where your dragon mark has been slashed through with an anti-magic blade. And suddenly you hear, "To war!" and see fire blaze. And Yurtosh lead a charge. And you flash back to the present moment, knowing that none of what you just saw happened, but it could have. And knowing that child is dead without you there. Reznor. Snarling beast of blood at your side. Elongated canines, hair whipping back in a wild mane of white. A growl deep in your chest, echoed by the axe in your hands. And you are unsure what is more blood-soaked, your maw or the head of this blade. You stand atop a beaten beast with the corpse of its creator thrown to the side, gazing down at Kokola Ironcut. The blasts of flame near you have stopped, but the field that you can see just out of the corner of your right eye still burns. That sickly sweet smell of roasting flesh reaches you. You hear ripping and tearing as gnolls devour their fallen foes. You hear Yurtosh's cries of, "Dismember them! Send them back to where they came, in pieces!" And you know there is still more battle to be fought in this place if you wish. There's blood to spill. And rage to unleash. What are Reznor's thoughts and or actions in this moment? As your mind is gripped by the wolf that stands beside you.
So right now, as he's looking down at Kokola and he looks at Zenlin, he feels his legs weaken a little bit, and then the anger take back over and straighten it. But then the struggle again, trying not to succumb to the rage of the beast next to him.
Come on, Reznor. Wouldn't it be fun? They're not even facing us. We could rip them from the bark. I bet the blood would spray so nicely.
And he'll kind of close his eyes and shake his head. No. I'm not like that anymore. We've got to be able to keep control.
But you are. You are. After all, I'm still here.
No, none of you can speak to animals, but you can see Reznor saying, no, I'm not like that, to the little blood wolf that's talking at him.
You're here now, but I think I'd be naive to say that.
'Cause you let me out. You don't want to run in the wild. You don't want to run in the wild with me. That's fine, Reznor. But I smell prey.
And we can still have the prey, but we can also do it where innocents aren't hurt.
No innocence on a battlefield, Reznor.
And you see the wolf sprints off into the fray. And you feel a little pull deep in your chest telling you it'd be so fun to go with it.
Which part of the battlefield did it take off towards?
You tell me. Which part was more desirable to interfere in for Reznor? Dismemberment or devouring?
I would say probably wherever it's thickest. So probably the devouring side.
And you see the wolf run off ahead of you and begin to rip into the remaining soldiers here, tooth and nail. Feeling that pull. But still remaining yourself. You have a choice here.
I think he'll take a hesitant step towards the wolf, but he'll kind of stop himself. He'll still stare at it, but he'll stop moving.
Yeah. Your Reznor, your rage ends, your shift does not. And you are all here. And you can hear your allies moving about in the tent just to your east.
I guess we should go get them going, eh?
Reznor will kind of snap his head back to them. Yeah. He's dragging right now, by the way.
I think I can use this this apparatus here. I think I can turn it into something we could use to our benefit.
Yeah, I will let you know it's fully damaged right now. 0 HP, does not work. Would need repaired.
I'm not positive if I can teleport it for after with us, but we can definitely see. Like, it seems like it'll need some fixing before it's very useful, but...
Well, the whole Undercity's going to the other place. I mean, maybe we could get it fixed up enough to be able to move through your teleportation circle.
That's true. I had not thought that far, or on how long we would be staying down there was kind of what I meant. But Definitely, we can figure it out. I'm gonna go tell Breckish to get into positioning to get going.
Okay. Hey,
Alright.
Chip.
Yes.
That stone where she was feeling, does it feel like it's a stone that comes out like a key?
Oh, yeah, it does. It seems like a key.
Okay, so she'll take the key out of it
Cool.
and
Yeah,
put it
you
in
take the key out of it. It's really just a nice piece of rock. It's got some notches in the side, but it's mostly circular.
and I'll get out my little pencil pocket protector notebook that I always carry, and I'll write a little note that says "Property of the dagger, do not touch," and I'll stick it to the dashboard of it, so that way nobody comes and steals
Yeah,
my.
you stick a post-it note that says "Property of the dagger" to the seat. Love it.
Yeah.
All right. Zenlin is heading off to Breckish's tent. Is anyone following? Or going with, rather?
Yeah,
Resnor's
Zenny was are right by where Coca-Cola is, so I think she'll jump down and follow, knowing that there is still things to be done. In the back of her mind, she's wondering how things are going at the Kundarak house, and she's also thinking, we haven't come across any Kundarak troops yet. Are they on the opposite side of the battlefield? What's going on with that as well?
I'll let you know the Kundarak troops were mixed in with throughout House Deneath. There were no Goradin present at this battle. Most of the houses supplied just melee troops. It wasn't really we're adding anything to the effort. It's, look, we're supporting it by giving you our shitty guys. And then House Deneath does our actual war for us. The same way the actual last war went.
Yes, but the last time she didn't see something on the battlefield yet, it came at the next section of the battlefield. So she's kind of keeping in the back of her mind, I haven't seen the commander, I haven't seen the group of, Kundarak soldiers who were at the festival where things went bad. There was more than just the house.
Those Kundarak. Well, I'll remind you, half of those Kundarak soldiers died.
I don't remember dying. What?
That squad was split up and integrated into others. I tell you what, maybe we'll do a talk back sometime where I'll walk through the whole war games planning I went through for this.
Sure.
That could be fun. But we are on air right now, so I do want to keep moving. But yeah,
Jillian's going to come along. She's going to be looking at you guys, trying to figure out if you guys need some heals or.
Okay.
We should all drink a healing potion.
I was gonna say Zenlin's been hit, but the previous healing you've done has gotten him to above bloodied, so he's still relatively substantially hurt, but he's not in danger. He's got more health than he started the campaign with, and that's saying something.
Oh no, I'm in danger.
Resnor is a light breeze from being downed.
Does Resnor, do you need a potion, or do you have one in your pack?
I do not have a potion.
No, you have the
Okay.
potion.
Jill's going to give him a greater, let's see, she's got one that's greater. Get my mouse over there. It is a greater healing potion. So it's 4d4 plus 4.
Plus 4. Yep.
44 plus 4. Big fan.
Let's see, Zen. I don't have another greater. Do you have a potion, Zen?
No, you should
I've got
have
a
all
regular.
the potion
Okay.
stock. It should be 25
I can take a regular.
Okay. All right. And I think I'll be okay. All right, good.
Resnor's got a little more pep in his step now.
Thanks, Jill.
While
Thank
While
you.
we are moving, I would like to take an action while I'm doing, bonus action movement to activate my Rod of the Pact Keeper and gain a spell slot back.
Cool. You make it into the tent, and you see that there is some sort of apparatus. You've never seen this before in your life, any of you. That is set up by Breckish as the center of this ritual. And you see that there's a crescent moon shape with 2 lines coming out at the end, swiveling around atop a pedestal with 4 legs, entirely made of brass, with a bright blue gem at the center of it.
Oh,
and you see Breckish looks at you all. Oh, yeah. We got about, hopefully only 30 seconds left.
Is there anything we can do to help? I'm not an expert at rituals, but I have a bit of training.
Do any of you have untainted magical sources?
Yes.
As in not influenced by an outside source?
Yes.
Like a magic crystal?
Magic crystal could work, yeah. As long as it's not like a fairy crystal or like a kyber crystal.
Oh, I don't have a kyber crystal, but I do have...
No, we need it to not be one of those, so that's good.
I have a dragon shard.
Which kind of dragon shard?
A Sybaris dragon shard.
Alright, so we're going to pass on that one too. You said you had something, gentleman with the purple skin.
Oh, I misunderstood. My magic is not tainted by anything else. I didn't know if that would be helpful.
Hey, that works. That
object.
works.
Oh,
that works. That's good. Anybody else? Magic not committed to a force of extraplanar origin.
Oh no, my magic comes from the stone.
Reznor thinks of the Blood Wolf and is like, I don't know if we want that.
He's going to make an Arcana check quick.
Jill will offer her magic.
Oh, that's a good question. Does holy magic from a god count as being beholden to something?
Well, first thing we're going to do is I'm going to have him make an Arcana check about Cola. Then we're going to get into Jill's magic. Because Jill's magic could have fun lore implications about Jillian.
Oh.
On double 9s, he looks at you, Cola. I can't be sure, so let's save it in case of emergency. How about that? Stone's technically not.
Yeah.
Stone's not technically.
Did you unplug your microphone on accident?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I got the stone is not technically, and then you were very far away.
Oh, it was the stone is not technically extraplanar, but parts of it are, so he's not sure and he's not going to gamble unless he has to.
Well, given it's a warlock patron, I assume that counts as being beholden to somebody.
I would say it's beholden to that. It's just whether that is extraplanar, and he's not sure.
Me either, friends.
So
it's alright.
Yeah. And our cleric friend, what's the source of your magic? And I would like you to make me a religion check here, Jillian.
Okay.
DC 15. Remember, you make these with advantage.
I got a 16... 21.
Gorgeous. 21. In the moment where you are asked, where does your magic come from, you realize you have a choice on where your magic comes from. You have a choice on whether it comes from worship of the sovereign host, as it always has, or from commitment to the ideal of protecting the people of this city, and of this country, and of this continent, and of this world. In that order.
She has more of a connection to the community, to the people of the city, and that's where it comes from the people who live, who are my friends, who are my neighbors, who are my community. They have hope, even though they're being incredibly oppressed, and that's where her power comes from. Hope is a way of healing, and that's where her healing comes from.
Hope is a better one-word summation than I think I had thought of for where Jillian's power comes from. And I think to reward that, as long as you, the player, can honestly say Jillian Roca feels hope in her heart, she will always be able to cast Cure Wounds at a first level while conscious. You can consider Cure Wounds a cantrip. Now, mind you, that is only a first level Cure Wounds that you can consider a cantrip. You will not be able to upcast it to higher. Or, no, we'll make this more appropriate. Make that healing word. Hope is your healing word. Now, there may come a time when you need to cast this cantrip, and I genuinely ask you if you think Jillian has hope left. That's your trade-off.
I don't like the way you just said that.
Good, you weren't supposed to. And we will move into... And Jillian, we move back into real time as this question, as you answer this question for yourself. Where does your magic come from? How do you answer Breckish?
From hope. Hope that we can shirk off this yoke of oppression of the houses. Hope that we can get as many people out of here so that they can live and they can thrive.
Well, that sounds just about perfect to me. And I am going to ask each of you who is putting magic into this, so Zenlin and Jillian, to write a number in the private chat. Do not hit send until I say of what level spell slot you are willing to commit to help this. I'll let you know you need to hit a combined number of 5. Both of you got it typed in? Please hit enter. All right, both of you burn a 4th level spell slot, and you see this gem glow with Breckish's blue magic, Zenlin's inky shadow spreading around the outside of it, and in the core, the bright golden light of hope. As the runic circle is completed, and you see it spiral, and we see it spiral out from this tent, connecting to so many other beautiful. Cole, if you didn't put that in the actual Twitch comments, I'm going to be upset with you. But we see this beautiful streaked light spreading out, connecting with reds and greens and yellows and purples, as all of the other ritual casters finally have the anchor point finished here, and the spell connects itself, spiraling from the uppermost edge of the Undercity where you are to the very bottom of it, and closes. Bright blue light whizzes past you. Suddenly, you cannot see through this inky darkness. You can almost make out the shapes of hundreds of people pressing in around you, so close that you should feel them, but nobody touches you. The black fades, and it is purple, filling your vision so much that it is not that it is light, it is that the air around you is an opaque purple. And then dark, dark red. Spikes of orange. It almost looks like lava blowing up out of the earth around you. And suddenly, a dull, misty blue. You are in a space between. You do not know how you know this, but you do. And as you look around, anyone who was present in the Undercity that you know the name of is visible to you. You may also take a long rest here in this space between where time is not. And only a collective will to leave this safe place will bring you out of it. Who are each of you looking for? Does anyone want to start first, or am I going to volunteer somebody?
I think Jillian is the first person Coca-Cola looks for. And then Zen and Reznor, but Jillian was first.
I'll let you guys know that the four of you are immediately apparent to each other. It is almost as if you are standing in the same place you were when you vanished and appeared here. Your group is together.
Well, then the next thing I'm immediately looking for is my new apparatus. I want to make sure it came with us.
What's its name?
His name is going to be Pinkie Pie.
Wonderful. That's not his name now, though.
Well, that's what I've been calling him in my head since I thought, I could probably drive this thing. I'm probably going to keep this.
You know what? I'll say, I won't hard lock this from you. This is not impossible, because this is. Give me an Arcana check, DC 20.
I'm not an Arcana person, but you got it. 17.
You can ask your teammates for buffs.
Sure. Jill, you got a little guidance over there. I wouldn't mind it.
She'll slap your back and give you some guidance.
I'm trying to find Beep's new friend.
One of Beep's henchmen.
Wow, I got a 1. Oh, I got an 18.
18?
Yep.
You realize in this moment where you are looking out for your construct, that like your brain is telling you it should be here, right? But there's no, that doesn't make sense. Everyone you see is a living, thinking creature. Like, you do not see animals walking around that were present in the Undercity. You see beings. You feel like who you've been referring to as Pinkie Pie, and God, I'm going to regret giving you my cool mech.
If I was clever, I would have named him Boop to go with Beep.
Keep it moving.
Beep boop.
But no, you know what? Sometimes the players have to win one over on me emotionally with how much I abuse you guys. That nagging feeling just keeps hitting you. You can't think your way past it to assign this construct a name of your own choosing. You just get stuck on that thought of, why do I think it should be here when nothing else is?
Because Cocola's understanding of moving the whole Undercity was, she thought literally the entire Undercity, blocks, buildings, and all were going to be uprooted from Sharn and moved to...
Yes, and I will 100% let you know that is what you were told the plan is, and as far as you've been able to verify, that is the plan. I'll even tell you above table, that is the plan. You are in an in-between space right now where thinking beings are present. I think, I'm not sure if Zenlin solved the puzzle, but I think Dawn did.
I like to think that Zenlin has a history with planes and things, A, with where he comes from, and B, that he does have teleportation magic, so I would like to...
Yeah, and you've made a study of it. Actually, I'll say Zenlin, as you don't really... instead of beginning to interact with the people around you, it seems like you're in thought for a second. Give me a Arcana check for you. This will be with your teaching and leanings magically. I'll say DC 15.
$23.
You think that you are experiencing interplanar travel with the astral realm as a stopping point along the way. Like you think you are currently passing through the astral realm, and you think it'd be a lot faster passing if everyone in this journey wanted to get there as quick as possible, basically.
I was going to say, I assume with the 23, I have an idea of some of the base things. So to answer the other question,
you're in the realm of thought.
Yeah, it also goes with this. There's only 2 people's names outside of the party that he knows that could possibly be here. And while searching for one of them might be interesting, he would seek out your Tash, especially with what he knows about where we are, because at least a large part of these people are your Tash's men, so they'll listen to him.
All right, cool. We'll come back to that, since I did say you spent your first few seconds in thought. I'm going to say, Cocola, it only takes you a second to realize that you can't quite find your construct yet. You can still reach out to somebody else if you'd like, if you have someone in mind.
I don't really think that there's anybody else that's supposed to be moving that she would be looking for, because her other focus, aside from helping save the people, was her dad and grandfather, and they were meant to stay in the material plane and head back. So
makes perfect sense.
I think as long as she knows that her party is safe, she's good.
Cool. Jillian, is there anyone you're looking for?
No, Jill is just concerned about her, about Zen and Rez and Cocola and
you look around and you see your friends all look well. And I think as you examine your friends for the first time, you realize that, like, though the coloration is right, and there's a depth that is missing to their figures, and there's a depth that's missing to yours. It's almost as if like you were 2.5D instead of 3D. It's like what you think of as yourself came through. So like you heavily trained in medicine, you can feel your body full. You look over at like Zenlin and you can see that, okay, Zenlin's chest is rising and falling. Maybe that's because Zenlin thinks of like their illness as a part of them, so it has come with them physically. And you look at Reznor and you can see like Reznor is the outside of Reznor, and like you can see some of the musculature is under the skin, but it is mostly a floating shell of an image. And I don't think I know enough about Cocola's thought of themselves physically, like what physically of themselves they consider to be them, just on a core basis to make that call.
I feel like if you were looking at a ethereal extraplanar shell of Cocola, it would probably look something like the Thing from Fantastic Four. That sort of like rocky body built of stone, because she's been very heavily leaning into I am from the stone, I'm a child of the stone. So that would be probably the essence of her. You would see internal essence.
Yeah, I think you look at Cocola and you don't see Cocola. You see a being of ragged, cracked rock in the shape of your friend.
I think Jillian would reach out and try and touch her stony shoulder.
Okay. Give me a DC 10 wisdom check.
Oh, I rolled a nat 1.
You reach out to touch Cocola's shoulder, and as you grab onto it, you can feel the rough stone. Your finger kind of scrapes against it. And Cocola, you can feel the touch, but not as well as you could normally. It's the sensation is deadened a little, almost like if someone was touching you like through a winter coat or sticks.
Would Jill know? I know I rolled a nat 1, but would Jill know on a non-physical level that this has to do with her faith in the stones?
I would say on a nat 1, give me I'm going to say a flat DC 15 religion.
Okay.
Because I don't think Nicole has talked to you very much about her newfound faith.
I rolled a 15.
15 gorgeous.
And you said flat, so without my religion, it's just a flat 15.
No, flat just means like not an advantage. I would have given you disadvantage, but you always have advantage on religion, so they cancel out to be a single roll.
Okay. So that would be a 20, a dirty 20 then.
Yeah, you think definitely at least a piece of that is that. But you look at yourself and you're not glowing golden. Zenlin's not made of shadows. Reznor's made of Reznor, not blood. So you think maybe that's a piece of the issue? Or maybe it's just that Cocola identifies so wholly with her new faith. that she has become it. You do not think just serving the stone has changed Coca-Cola in this way, or would change everyone in this way. And I don't think you think it's anything magical about Coca-Cola that has done it. I think, this is how Coca-Cola sees herself at this moment. And I am now going to propose a question to Coca-Cola. A bit similarly, but still your own, to Jillian's change of faith. When Coca-Cola leaves this place, will she still be of stone?
Internally, yeah, of course. She's very, very connected to that vision that she received the night that the shard fell from the sky, where somebody that wasn't her mother or her father, her grandfather, people that are supposed to root for her, told her, you are meant for more. You're a child of the stone. And as somebody who's always wanted change and wanted to bring change to the world, that feeling of something bigger than me says I'm more than just a knife or a ward crafter or however, that she is very heavily bought into the concept of being a child of the stone, like unwavering, unbroken, unmovable piece of herself is always going to be that.
Yeah. And you look down at who you are in this place, and you recognize yourself in it very easily. Nothing about it looks different than what you're used to looking like. You do feel right in this stone skin. And the longer you look at it, even in this floating realm of free thought, you just start to feel a little heavier as the bones fill in with granite. Your lungs of sandstone, and your body purest marble. The cracks smooth out, and you look up, seeing just a hint of your reflection in Jillian's burnished steel pauldrons. You hear boom deep in your head, and you know it to be a question. Would you be mine, unchanging? May I sculpt you as you have sculpted me?
I think in this place of thought and sort of this floating sort of reality around, where she's sort of reveling in these internal monologues of who I am, who I'm going to be, that she would relinquish herself to the question, would allow them to shape her as stone is able. Stone is hard and unwavering and unmoving, but it is shapeable. It is able to be carved and made into something more than just a rock or a boulder.
And Coca-Cola, you feel yourself freeze in place, body fully made of stone and fully real in this realm of thought and illusion, and begin to feel pieces of yourself sheared away as if by a chisel. The rest of you begin to see pieces of rock flying off of Coca-Cola's chin, her shoulders, as she is reshaped. And you see she grows not much, but just a bit taller. The jaw is a little sturdier. Shoulders set a little further apart. And still made of stone, light comes back to her eyes and she moves, rushing ahead of all of you in this astral sea before disappearing out of view in a split second. Reznor, is there anyone you're looking for? I will remind you, there is someone in the Undercity whose name you know, but none of the rest of the party does. Little farmer boy Alex. Or, I'm sorry, Commander Alexius. He's grown. We'll respect his new station.
Yeah, it's grown. So one sign he knows his party's around him. I think the commander and the blood dog.
And I'll let you know, you can see the commander off in the distance. It is just a matter of whether you want to psychically approach him, basically.
Can I tell, is he alive?
Everyone here appears to be in full health. I'll let you know that when this ritual went off and you got moved up here to the Astral Sea, if you were still alive, period, you got a long rest.
I don't think he's going to reach out psychically.
Well, I'll let you know, in this realm of thought, making the choice to move towards someone brings you to them. It is the thought of approaching is more what I meant. Causes you to approach. Once you commit to the thought.
I would say with everything that happened, he would
like
definitely
a long rest. Yes. Sorry, go ahead, Reznor.
Just with everything that's happened, he would definitely think about approaching him.
And you think about this, and again, you take that first hesitant step like you did to follow the wolf, which is still here by your side. And suddenly you and the wolf are both in front of Commander Alexius. You cannot escape you even here. Is this my hell? And you my devil?
Well, there are a lot better people than me here, so I don't think this is hell. But as far as being your devil, I
don't think it's hard to find a better person than you, devil. Tell me, have you yet felt any guilt? Or are you still bound on beast-like in the night, ripping throats while people slumber? You see he is fully laying on the ground. He has not stood up from when your from when your beast ripped his throat out, though he is fully healed.
That's good.
Mechanically, I'll let you know he passed all his death saves. And also, I think I've mentioned this before in our back chat, but just for our audience, any character with a name gets to make death saves. That's our rule here for Gilded Destinies.
So, I wish I could tell you that one of those is no longer happening, but I'd be lying. I do feel guilt every day about what happened. But I didn't take the steps until recently to try and stop it.
This... Where are we then? This... Oh, gods. No! And you see him begin to burn up from the center in a flash as he disappears. You can give me an Arcana check. DC 15.
Oh, I'm real not good at Arcana.
Your wolf will give you the help action.
Oh!
It's a full being. And by the way, listener, you didn't know this, but you didn't know this before you cast the spell. Fun fact, Reznor thought they were just casting Summon Beast because I'm a liar.
Oh.
Reznor, your wolf has the stats from the bestial spirit land. It acts more like a familiar. It is present until dead. Or until you unsummon it.
Don't. I guess not as both of them, but don't.
Alright, what'd you get on your check?
19.
19. That was Hellfire.
Oh. My immediate thought upon seeing that is I need to talk to someone.
Probably a wise thought. And you move back to Zenlin instantly as you have the thought. You're regathered with Zenlin, Jillian, and not Cola.
Hey.
Land. Right where you were just standing before this whole trip. In a tent on the edge of the Undercity. You can peek your head out and see that your apparatus is sitting right there waiting for you. And your friends' bodies are here, though unresponsive. Is there anything you'd like to do, Coppola?
I think she kind of just goes on like she's herself. Like,
yeah,
she just is Coppola.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether she looks different coming out of that, she just is still herself.
Okay. And is there anything you're doing while your friends are unresponsive here?
I'm the only one conscious.
Your friends, you can see your friends' bodies are all standing exactly where they were when the ritual went off, but they are just fully not moving. Just stare. No blinking or anything.
I think I would reach out and touch each one of them in a way that's familiar for me to touch them. So for Jillian, it would be, I would take her hand and squeeze her hand gently, just 3 little squeezes. And for Reznor, I would pat him on the shoulder.
We'll go one at a time. So Jillian, you feel in this realm of thought 3 squeezes on your hand. You know that's that's Coca-Cola. And I'd like for you to go ahead and give me a wisdom saving throw, DC 12.
+9. So that is 17 is the highest one that I rolled.
Gorgeous. As you shock back into your body and see Coca-Cola there holding your hand. Zenlin and Reznor, you have a moment here before, as Jillian looks at her hand and then disappears, to discuss what Reznor just saw.
Hey, Zen, I got a question.
Shoot.
So the commander from earlier, the one that's really angry with me, he just burst into flames. And I'm pretty sure it was hellfire. Is that normal here, or?
Not to my knowledge. From my studies, this is a place of thought. In theory, there's not much harm that can really come to you here other than getting lost if you let your mind wander.
Yeah. You can go ahead and give me a... Just based on what Reznor has said already, a DC 21 Arcana check. And I'll say you can make this with advantage because of your earlier success.
Sure. If that's not going to do it, nope. We get a 15.
15? You know you're passing through this place, and that the reason you're passing through is because the astral plane connects to almost every plane.
I suppose this place is kind of a connection to the other places, so I suppose it's possible that we pass close to some hell plane or fire escape, which, I mean, wouldn't surprise me with where we're going.
So one more thing that I kind of remember is before he burst into flames, he kind of wondered where we were, and it seemed like he either realized or thought we were somewhere, and then kind of
and Jillian vanishes in a golden glow.
Not like that. His was fire. I don't know what that was.
Yeah, and Jillian's is more of like a being sucked down and out rather than a burning up from the inside.
That was much calmer.
Wait, you said you went to him by thinking of him, right?
Yes.
What if, and this is all theory, I've never been here and I don't know very much. This is a place driven by thought, where what you think of or who you think of, it will take you to it. So, perhaps, if this man thought he was burning in hell, that is where the sea led him?
Very possible.
In a similar vein, I have a theory of how we can get where we're going.
Jillian and Coca-Cola. Jillian is back now. You have a moment to do something if you like. And we will continue concurrently. So your conversation will have a chance to happen as well as that one.
I think if Jillian's back after recognizing the squeeze, I think Coca-Cola would do the same to Reznor, except for Reznor, it's not his hand that she would squeeze, it's his shoulder. She kind of always pats him on the shoulder, so she would do like 3 light pats on his shoulder.
I'm going to say, because I do think Coca-Cola has done this much less for Reznor, the difficulty is going to be higher. Reznor, I need a wisdom saving throw DC 16 as you feel a light pat on your shoulder.
I got a 4.
4. Wonderful. Zenlin, go ahead and say what you were going to say.
Oh. Just that I think I need to talk to Yurtash. I might have a plan to get us out of here.
All right. Are you committing yourself to the idea of talking to Yurtash? When you say it out loud?
Not then. He's going to turn to Reznor and say, Reznor, follow me, and then he's going to commit himself to going to talk to Yurtash.
Beautiful.
Oh, yeah, Reznor follows.
You appear in front of Yurtash, and you can see the entire crowd from the tavern that you were introduced to is here, as well as most of the people whose names you heard, even if you did not recall them, across the battlefield. You see there's about 500 people here. And you see that people are appearing in front of Yurtash and then very quickly being moved off to the side by a crew here. It looks kind of like Yurtash knew this was going to happen and had a plan in place and just forgot to tell you, or assumed you knew.
Cool. Yurtash, do you have a direction for us to go? Otherwise, I might have a plan.
Oh, yeah, everyone's supposed to think of me, come to me, and then they go sit down, and then we've got the ritualists over there who can explain the thought to focus on.
I mean, you guys have a plan. I'm not going to get in the way of it.
Well, no, I mean, if you have more information, like we're just going to basically have some of the ritualists who do illusions put up a picture of the Undercity in the new light, and then we'd have people focus really hard on that to get us there.
That works. I was going to say otherwise I could focus on my mother and you all could focus on me.
I know your mother's beat us on arrival. I don't know if she's going to be in where the new Undercity is or on the edge. That could work. I mean, if you want to focus on your mother, go ahead. And then maybe we'll know how would you get a message back.
Right. We can just go with your plan. That is fine.
No,
out of curiosity, what would happen?
Go ahead.
What would happen to someone who already sunk out of the place we are?
Would be. I mean, did they know where they were going?
I don't really know. As you can see, the other bits of our vanguard were with us. One of them dropped out of nowhere, and then the other started glowing and then was gone.
Okay.
Also saw a man burn to death in hellfire.
Hypothetically, I'm going to best case scenario, assume that they wound up back where they started. This whole thing is moving the Undercity, so they would still move with it, correct?
Yeah. So if they drop out of the astral plane and end up back in their bodies, they should be good. The issue is if they drop out of the astral sea into one of the other planes. But that shouldn't happen unless something from one of those planes has a stake on their soul. We made sure we used pure magical sources all throughout, so nothing could grab on.
I look at Reznor. I guess that's your answer?
That is very strange, but I trust that y'all know what you're talking about.
Anyways,
I appreciate the trust, Reznor.
Yeah. He'll give him a thumbs up.
I know it happens a lot now, but for a long time, not a lot of people trusted that I knew what I was talking about. So it's nice to hear, Thank you.
Not a problem here, Tosh. Trust is big around,
Yeah, trust is.
Nope, go ahead,
Jillian and
Josh.
Cola, anything else you're doing? Oh, this is ongoing.
You all right, Joe?
Yep, I'm all right. Are you all right?
I feel all right. I feel
You feel good. There is
Feel
not a bone in your body that aches because there are no bones in your body.
yeah, I feel great. That was a interesting trip, but you think Zen and Rez are gonna wake up soon?
I hope so. Jill is sort of like looking at them, trying to see if there's any motion. And she pats Resnor's arm.
Resnor, go ahead and give me another DC 16 Wisdom save.
DC 16 Wisdom. That is a 16.
Beautiful. Resnor, you feel a pat on your arm, and it's the same light touch you've come to associate with Jillian touching you to heal your wounds. And you snap back into your body.
No.
You okay, Resnor?
I guess so. Why are we back here?
You notice the light is different too, Resnor.
Hey, Zen, do you look at Zen? Has he not come back? Are we supposed to come back? I don't know how this works.
Zenlin's frozen.
All right,
Zenlin,
Zen,
your conversation with your Tosh is ongoing, and Resnor suddenly whoop, disappears.
Like that.
And you see a little, not a full golden glow in this case, but just like a handprint's worth of it. Oh, and you said one of your other friends disappeared in a full gold glow?
That's correct.
Well, I've got two major guesses. One, your friend found something to focus on and brought themselves out on the other side. And then gave your other friend, he gave Resnor something to focus on, and Resnor came out. Or the same thing kidnapped both of them, but was less showy with the second because it realized we could see it. Not a lot of things that do kidnappings have soft golden glows, though, so I think we're probably okay.
Makes sense.
Though I have heard there's some Celestials that get a bit grabby with the mortals they like, so.
Sure. Well, in case I disappear, I'm glad you made it through.
Well, you know what, Zenon? You're not going to disappear as long as I keep thinking about coming to you. He smiles at you real big.
Don almost made a joke.
Yeah, I know you did. I said it, and I was like, and then I was like, fuck.
Zen will probably wait like 5 or 6 seconds, and if he doesn't feel anything similar to what seems to have been happening, can Zen think of himself?
Private astral see you too. I think what we're gonna do here is we'll save that for a second. Resnor, Coca-Cola, Jillian, you doing anything like immediately after Resnor wakes up?
Well, that's 3 out of 4. Now we just have to wake Zen up.
I was gonna say, at that, he'll put a hand on Zen's shoulder and kind of shake and be like, "Come on, buddy. We gotta go.
I figured you were going to do the puppy dog in the morning thing, lick your face when you got to go out sort of situation.
Hi.
Yeah,
Why
Zenlin,
does
your
Reznor
whole
ask to be
body,
let out?
your whole astral body shakes a little. Go ahead and give me a wisdom saving throw, DC 12, same as Jillian's.
Resnor's so strong, he shook him in the astral
It's
plane.
an 11.
All right. You shake, stabilize, and think of yourself. Here's a fun moment as a DM where I have to decide how much a character loves themselves and what DC I should put on that.
Oh, loves themselves? That's a low.
Well, no, love, like, not actually loves, but like cares about themselves, and it's a summatory word.
Got you.
How connected you are to yourself. I'm gonna say I would normally, if this was I'm gonna say the DC would have been 12, like for your closest connection shaking you. There's no one you're connected to more closely to than yourself, right?
I am a
But
sorcerer.
yourself is present here and there. And you're a sorcerer.
And I'm aware of that. I'm aware that I'm present here and there.
We're gonna make a little series of rolls here.
That's fair.
Your first roll is going to be fixing the image of that illusory image of the underdark lit undercity in your head, so you know which of yourself to focus on. That's only going to be a DC 12.
Okay. And that's Wiz save?
Yeah, wisdom saving throw.
Okay.
I'll say you can make this first one with advantage.
Okay.
At the risk of me punishing you a little later on. I will let you know if you fail the first one, the whole string of rolls ends.
Could I make an argument? Giving up
You
the
can make an
advantage. That since this is all about Zenlin's connection to himself and his image of himself, that this has to do with his sense of self or his charisma instead? As always, I accept no.
No, I like it. I think because it's not the skill I would say isn't used for navigating the realm of thought, I'm going to bump all the DCs up by 1.
That's fair.
Okay. So first wisdom saving throw. Or no, I'm going to say the first one is wisdom, just because
Okay.
you're fixing an image in your mind.
That one makes sense.
The rest I'll make charisma because they are about you and yourself.
Okay. Giving up the advantage,
I
I
will,
got an 8.
and without the advantage, you got an 8.
Yep.
Would you like the advantage?
That's up to you. I made my bargain.
You can have it. I'm just letting you know if you roll with advantage now, you will roll with disadvantage on something
Apparently D&D said it don't matter because with advantage I rolled another 7. So it's still an 8 on the wisdom save.
else. Zenlin cannot make a wisdom saving throw.
Facts.
And Zenlin, you just can't picture this piece of the Undercity lit in the light of your homeland. You cannot fix that image in your mind. Is there another route you would like to? Is there another route you would like to try?
If that's the only route, I'm gonna regret this, but the only other thing is the thing he mentioned to your Tash. That's the only other thought he has. And despite his fears, feeling like he hasn't done what he needs to, he is going to think of his mother.
Okay. Zenlin, this is where I'm going to oppose your disadvantage, or impose your disadvantage.
That's fair.
If you pass this check, I'll let you know you are moving out of the astral sea either way. If you pass this check, you will be moved to the current position of your physical body. If you fail, you and your physical body will be moved somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
You can probably guess your mother would be involved.
For sure.
The DC is 15.
Okay. And is
No,
this
you
the
know,
one?
I've already given you disadvantage. The DC is 13.
Okay. And that's wisdom or charisma?
This is charisma.
Okay.
I believe this is a plus 8 or 9 for you.
Yep. And we got a 21. There was a 13 and an
Gorgeous.
18, so disadvantage gives us 21.
You close your eyes and picture your mother the only way you can. A face peering out of shadow. Above you, beside you, below you, it does not matter. But she is watching. You see a long, nailed, lavender-skinned hand reach out of the blackness behind your eyelids to grab you. Seconds after you begin to feel yourself pulled down from your position and lock into your body. Your eyes are shut. And there's nothing but black around you. Yeah, there's nothing but black around you for a moment. And a massive hand on your shoulder. Still shaking you.
Resno.
Yeah.
I open my eyes. Can I see?
Yeah, you can see.
Okay, good. We know that Shadow Queens like to blind people.
If everyone is blind, then everything is shadows.
That was not a pleasant way to travel. In theory, the others should be fine. They had a plan. We're just faster than them, I guess. In a way, kind of. Not really. It's complicated. Can I look around? Does it look like we're in Underdark lighting?
Yes. It is. You can see the lighting comes from luminescent bright blue fungi across the ceiling of the cavern that you are in. And you can see not too far behind you, further out from the Undercity, further, if you continued on your path that your vanguard marched further away, there is a massive 50-foot long door, or not door, but archway, with a set of about 70 stairs leading up to it, all in obsidian black.
I assume we look out and all the other warriors,
everyone else
are
appears
just frozen.
Everyone appears to be waking up, and you see that some of the blade marks appear to be returning immediately to battle. A lot of them are laying down their weapons, and along the right flank, it appears that the war has not ended. Or, I'm sorry, along the left flank, now on your right. But what was originally the left flank of Gnolls versus Blade Marks and mixed soldiers, the battle is ongoing.
Jill, can you do that voice booming
shock
thing
back
for other
into
people?
their bodies.
Sorry, Chip.
As people shock back into their bodies, pause for a moment, and then return to the violence.
Or is that like a you-only spell?
I can definitely do a yell something if you want me to. Is there anything in particular you want me to say?
You should yell that the masters are not on this plane and that they would do better to just give up at this point.
Right. Jillian will cast Thaumaturgy, and she will shout, Lay down your arms. Release yourself from the tyranny of the houses and surrender. They are nowhere around you. They cannot help you. So surrender.
All right, Jillian, I'm going to have you make me 2 persuasion checks here.
Okay.
One against the gnolls, which will be made with advantage. DC on this is 18 to convince them to stop feeding. As a pack, you will get scattered results for anything above a 10.
Got a 21.
Gorgeous. You see the gnolls back up about 3 or 4 paces each. Go ahead and give me that other persuasion check.
Okay.
For the assorted house soldiers, DC on this one will only be a 13.
22.
Gorgeous. As the battle ends. And you hear from behind you, atop the obsidian staircase. Quite right, Miss Rilka. I won't have violence in my realm unneeded. There are more subtle ways to express our discontent. And Zenlin, you see your mother standing atop the staircase, flanked by her honor guard.
I think
Is
Zenlin...
that my darling baby boy?
Zenlin just starts walking forward. Toward the staircase.
She begins to descend, motioning to her guard to stay at the door. And she's going to try to pace herself so that she'll be about a quarter of the way down when you reach the bottom of the staircase. She's going to see if you ascend to meet her, or if she has to come down to your level.
Nope. He just gets to the foot and just looks up at her.
The clack of your mother's heels on polished black stone. Massive bird-like wings coming off of her shoulders. Black dress down to her knees. My little prince. And she reaches out with long-nailed fingers to tilt your chin up to her. Come home.
Okay, sorry, I had to make sure I didn't remute myself.
You're good.
It's a long time since we've spoken, Azira. I hope you've grown as I have.
Zenlin, darling. You call me mother or your majesty?
I don't mean to alarm you, Mother, but I do not recognize your title.
My darling boy. You will. And that is where we're going to end this session of Gilded Destinies. Thank you all for joining us. With me, as always, I've had Hooli, Don, Shen, not Duke. You can catch us next week for our season finale? What? And you can catch me tomorrow night over on the Streaming Rainbow, where I'll be playing the second episode of Best Last Summer, a wonderful Kids on Bikes game set in 2004, where we're on our way to Warped Tour or prison. We're not sure yet. You can also catch us starting on August 5th, Monday nights, here on Heroes and Hooligans again, with the return of Delirium, starring myself, Don, a bunch of other people whose names I'm going to forget because I just put myself on the spot. Kevin, Destiny,
Riley,
that's the one I was missing. And
I couldn't remember.
Andrew.
I said Andrew. GM by our wonderful Hooli. And catch us next Friday night for more Concentricity Echoes of Eden. I think that's all our plugs. I think.
For now.
We'll have some more coming up shortly. Stay tuned. Bye.